मूलं गुरोर्पदं मन्त्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरुकृपा। ॐ कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय, सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय, कृष्ण भगवान की जय, गीता माता की जय। हरि ओम। We are discussing Gita, Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, and yesterday we saw कामात्मनः स्वर्गपरा जन्म कर्म फलप्रदां क्रिया विशेष बहुलां भोगैश्वर्य गतिं प्रति भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया परितचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधो न विधीयते। त्रैगुण्या विषया वेदा निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वंद्वो नित्यसत्वस्थो निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान। These three verses we saw yesterday. People who believe in the karma-kanda part of the Vedas, they are always after acquiring name, fame, wealth, and they are desirous to always to have heavenly pleasure, and they work for it. So they are always restless. Their mind cannot be concentrated, it cannot be withdrawn so easily, and they cannot meditate, they cannot enter into samadhi, and they cannot have balance of mind. And the nature is of three qualities. Qualities when get disturbed, then nature starts all these visible world, creating all these visible world, whatever we see and we know it to be true. It is made by the nature, the Mahamaya, supreme power, and it is based on the imbalanced state of three qualities, three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. And the people who are always within this cycle, they go on enjoying something for some time as heaven, and they don't bear pain and pleasure. They don't go beyond it, and they are always in the cycle of birth and death, and they cannot attain the highest state of bliss eternal. And because they are always influenced by, under the clutches of three qualities, O Arjuna, Lord Krishna advises Arjuna, don't be in the clutches of these qualities, give it up first you have to acquire the subtlemost, pure and one-pointed quality, that is sattva. The highest state of the natural relative life, that is highest sattva, purified sattvic mind, and most subtle and very calm and quiet, so it can be controlled easily and one can enter to samadhi. That's all. So Lord Krishna advises Arjuna to give up these qualities and to become nirdvandva, means to get rid of this bondage of pairs of opposites, which are the constituent of the creation, pairs of opposites. Nirdvandva bhava, get rid of these pairs of opposites. Previously also he had advised Arjuna to bear pain and pleasure and go beyond it. Now he says, don't acquire wealth and don't spend your life on protecting it. Yoga and kshema, go beyond it. And be established in self. That is the way to the highest eternal bliss. When he says Veda deals with the natural process of the creation, which is dependent upon the three qualities, Trigunatmika, Mula Prakriti, and he advises Arjuna to get rid of this. So it does not mean to give up Veda. Veda is authority of all the knowledges. And it also gives both the sides of the knowledge. One is worldly knowledge, which gives you pleasure and pain both, and gives guidance for higher pleasure, but not permanent, eternal pleasure. Only higher pleasures, to go to heaven and enjoy for some time. And this way, the Karmakand part of Vedas deal with it, and those who are desirous of name, fame, wealth and everything, they follow these words of Vedas. But the wise people, they follow the other part of Vedas, which gives freedom from all the cycle of birth and death, and that is Jnana-kanda, how to meditate and attain that highest bliss. It is dealt with Vedas in the other part, the Jnana-kanda. And Lord Krishna says, Javanartha udapane sarvatah samprudodake tavan sarvesu vedesu brahmanasya vijanatah. That also we discussed a little yesterday. He gives the example where when there is everywhere water and water, everywhere flood, all around there is water and water. You are inside the ocean of water. Do you need for a handful of water? Do you care for it? So also, these Vedas, whatever they say, it is not to be rejected, not to be dishonored. It should be practiced. And when you go beyond it, so give up it. We give always the example. Suppose you come from a distant place, here Uttarakasi, by the help of a car. Of course, car has helped you such a great, to such a great extent. But because car has helped you, can you bring the car into your bedroom and into your bathroom? Car has helped you, no doubt. Keep it outside the gate and clean it also. It will be useful afterwards. This is how Vedas help us in a successful life in both ways. So we have not to reject Vedic principles, we have to follow it. Other example, a student who has been admitted into the school, a neophyte, he is admitted to the LKG class, UKG, and then he goes through other classes by and by. He cannot jump into higher classes all of a sudden. The textbooks, whatever he went through, the new student, after being promoted to higher classes, what does he do with those books? Does he carry all those with him all the time, whole life? They have become now useless, though they were helping one time. Similarly, when you go a long distance to reach somewhere, you go across some milestones, isn't it? What do they say? What do they indicate? How much you have already covered. And they always give you your qualifications, isn't it? How much you have covered the distance. That doesn't mean you have to carry all those milestones with you till you reach the target. You have to see it, understand it, give it up. You have to go ahead. Similarly, the Vedas, they are very helpful. They are not to be rejected. But after reaching the highest level of existence, that is eternal bliss, the wise don't depend upon the Vedic principles. Did you follow? This is how nirveda bhava. Javanartha udapane sarvataha samplyutodake tavan sarvesu vedesu brahmanasya vijanatahu. One who has attained Brahman, one who knows the Brahman, who is established on that highest state of existence, for him there is no need of any Vedas. Then Lord Krishna advises Arjuna. He says, understand your authority, how much you have to do, what you have to do, at what time, in what all conditions, what is your capacity, where do you stand. Just as I always tell you about your ID card, you must know where do you stand. In Hindi we say, कौन सा खेती के मूली, किस खेती के मूली तुम. You must understand your identity. Where do you stand? What is your capacity? What should you do? A glowworm should not try to compete with the sun. Isn't it? It must understand its own position. So this is what Lord Krishna wants to explain to Arjuna. Karmane eva vadhikarasti ma phaleshu kadachana. This stanza is very much interesting and always discussed by many. What is your right? You must understand. Human right. Ma karma phala heturvur mate sangastu akarmani. How to behave and what to know, where do you stand, you must understand. Karma neva adhikaraste ma phalesu kadachana. You see, sometimes people do all sorts of their own karmas according to their interest, and when little face to face there is discussions, they say, this is my human right, human right. They don't know others are human also. Everybody has his own rights. You are free means don't think I am bound to you. Once what happened, I'll tell you the story in short because time is short. We shall discuss it in elaborate way. Nicely we shall discuss. What is your right? Whether your birthright or human right, or what is your right? Adhikara. Adhikar means right, and that is right, that should be rightly understood. What is called right? It should be understood rightly. Once some devotees of Anandamayi Mataji came here by the direction of Swami Chidananji Maharaj. They came here to celebrate the 100th birthday of Anandamayi Mataji, centenary. They were all foreigners from Europe, mostly European countries, and a few were from America and other places. So they came here, they had a group, and group leader came to me. I made all the arrangements for them, and for stay and for their food and everything. So the group leader comes to me and asks, Swamiji, what are the rules and regulations of your ashram? Please tell us so that we shall go accordingly. I said, don't worry. I didn't give importance. So he again and again persistingly asked, No, no, we shall follow the ashram rules and regulations. Please tell us what is rule here. Different ashrams will have different rules and regulations. So I told them, I have some rules, it is most difficult to observe. So don't worry, go your way. You stay here as you like. No, no, we want to obey your rules and regulations. We don't want to go against the ashram rules. I said there is one rule. It is most difficult rule. Very few, rare people can obey it. So why are you forcing me to tell the rules? No, no, Sanji, please, please. We shall follow the rule. I said there is one rule, that is no rule. One rule we have, that is no rule. Everybody has their freedom. This is the rule of the ashram. Oh, very nice. We shall obey it. No rule. They started doing everything. They used to come outside after bath nude, and some ladies are, village ladies, they are passing by. They didn't care because they are foreigners. They don't care for all this. And they behaved as they like. So some people came and complained me, Swamiji, what sort of people you have allowed here? Some mad chaps. I said, what happened? Everything was told to me. So I called the group leader. I said, my dear, are you obeying the rule? Yes, Swamiji, you said there is no rule. I said, did you understand what does it mean? What does mean no rule? It is for all, not for only you. It is no rule for everyone. So if everybody behaves as he likes, what will happen? What will happen? You can walk out nude and do anything you like. And if some people, they enter your room and pass a stool and urine there in your room, will it be acceptable for you? Because they have no rule. No rule means all the rules are applicable. You must use your common sense. What do you mean by no rule? Everybody has their rights. Not only you. You are not only the person here. The whole world. Everybody has their rights. So, if everybody will act according to their individual, limited, selfish attitudes, they apply, what will happen in the society? Everybody has freedom means you have to be in your limits. If you cross your limit and enter into others' territory, others will be bound to disturb you. Don't you understand this much? No rule means can you do as you like? So everybody should do as they like. What will happen? No rule means you have to use your common sense not to disturb others. In no way you have right to disturb others. That is called no rule. Why should I force some rules upon you? Huh? Today, our hospital staff had meeting, and some people suggested, Swamiji, there should be some attendance register. What is that called? Automatic what? Where the fingerprint.
Sign-in.
What is that called?
Biometric.
Biometric. We should have a biometric so that everybody should come and put their fingerprints. So at what time they come, it is recorded there. People come very late sometime, and they are not serious about timings. I told them, my dear, I don't want to force any rules upon them. I don't like I will be forced by others by some rules. I want my freedom. So I want to give freedom to others. I don't want to force these rules and regulations. You are grown-up people. You are educated people. Can you think this much? Have you not this much common sense? You have to stick to time. You are serving here the patients. Patients come and wait for you. Is it not your duty to come before the patients come? What service mind you have? If you don't want to serve, go and do some job somewhere. Why should I force some rules on you? I rejected it. I mean to say what is called right. You must understand. Karmani eva adhikarahate. You have the right to perform your duties. Whatever is given to you, karma, to do your karma. But if you have done some karma, then you cannot get rid of the result of it. That means if you have become the doer, you are bound to be the enjoyer. Okay? For that sake only, Lord Krishna has warned beforehand, bear pain and pleasure and go beyond it. So, what is means to say? To perform your duties, you have got right, and not on the result of the performance. In simple words, but it has got very, very deep meaning. What is called karma? What is known as action? And how it yields the result, reaction. The whole world has one perfect rule. Action will have reaction. Nobody can break this rule. Action will have reaction. So how the action is performed and how the reaction comes, what are the natural process, we have to see all these. It is very, very important. We have to see everything elaborately from every angle of vision. And then he says, you have no right on the result of it. Ma karma phala hetur bhur ma te sangasta karmani. Don't go. He says, thy right is to work only, but never with its fruits. Let not the fruits of actions be thy motive. You don't have right on the fruits, but don't be motivated to get the fruits. Your motive should not be to get the result. Motive, you understand, before doing the act, you have some intention, some motive behind it. So that should not be also there to get the result. So what happens? If you have no result, if you have no motive to get something, then naturally you will have some understanding, then why should I act? But the other laws are applicable here. Nahi kaschid kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakrit. Nobody can stay without doing any action even for a moment. You are bound to do something. So, how to do? What to do? One should understand. You have to. You cannot overlook it. Because you are bound to do something. Then what is that action? You must understand how the actions are done. And you should not have any motive behind the results. And that's how, if you don't have the desire for right on the fruits of the actions, you have no motive, it is forbidden, then you may have an idea, why should I then do anything? That also should not be your attitude. Mate sangastu akarmani. You should not bent upon inaction, because you cannot do it. You are bound to act. So you are bound to get some results, but you have no right on it. And so don't expect anything, but you will get. So this we shall discuss in detail, maybe tomorrow also, because this question comes all the time. If you don't have any right on the results, then why in all these scriptures they give the benefits in the beginning? They give you the glory of the action in the very beginning itself. What will you get? If you do so, what will you gain? We have also gone through the Gita Mahatyam. We have gone through it. What will happen if you do so? If you have no right on the results of the actions, so why do they tell you all the benefits out of the action you do? That means, so all these complications should be clarified. First of all, let us see what is called karma. Karma doesn't mean only to eat and drink or walk or sleep. These are not only the karmas. We perform karmas by the body, then senses, And when the body and senses are compared with each other, body seems to be inert. It is inactive, it cannot do anything. Where the senses do the job, senses do the actions, isn't it? And similarly, when we compare the senses with the mind, it appears as if senses are unable to do anything. They are just like the instruments. And the mind only commands the senses as per the command of the mind. The senses have to work. They are instruments and mind uses these instruments and senses cannot do anything. When we compare the mind with the intellect, mind seems to be inert. It cannot do anything. The decisive part belongs to intellect. Intellect is the decisive part of the mind. Unless something is decided, how can the mind order anything to the senses and they perform anything? Impossible. So it appears as if the intellect is all in all, the boss. Okay. But this mind and intellect and all these group together, the senses and body, they are just like a stone. They have no capacity to do anything unless and until the prana gives a momentum to it, a tendency to act, a momentum, a prompting. Chesta, we say chesta, a momentum. You see, the generator, our generator gives us everything, light and power, everything we can use. But it cannot start by itself. There is some manual switch should be on, then only the generator starts working. Once it starts working, it will go on, of course. If the fuel is supplied all the time, continuously, it will go on acting continuously. This is how prana is the vital energy. Without prana, nothing can be done. So who is the doer here? And if there is no ego, there is no I, who is going to do the work? So all these we have to see very, very elaborately from every angle how an action is performed by whom, and in the end, of course, today this much, tomorrow we shall see on karma, only karma. Who does the karma? Whether the ego or the intellect or the mind or the senses, the body or prana. If the body is not there, how can prana act? If the body is not there, where has to the mind abide? Where to body is a support. So all these we have to see point by point how a performance is performed. Who is the doer here? And then what is called right? Karmani eva adhikarate. Who are you? always we find out the ID card. When you come to vote your personal opinion, now there is going to be election in Uttarakhand, 14th. So everybody has to give their opinion poll. So you have to show your ID. Without your ID, you are not allowed there to enter in. You must know who are you and how the works are performed, who does the actions, and how the reaction is seen in the natural process. Every action has its opposite and equal reaction. How it occurs. And if you have got right on the action, then why not on the reaction? Why not? This is also a question. And what is called right? Adhikar. Adhikar also, this word, very complicated. It has got so many, manifold meanings. By telling adhikara, Lord Krishna has put us in complications. You have the right. What is that right? And then you should not have any motive. Then how can the work be done? So all these we shall see tomorrow. For today, little more we can discuss just as a student. For the example, a student goes to the school, gets admitted into a class, and what does he do? What is his duty for a student? What is the life of a student? Come on, let us discuss. When he is admitted into a class, he will be given some work, studying a particular course, some course he has to undergo. And then he has to appear the exam, either in 6 months or in 1 year. He has to appear the exam. Okay? And then he gets the result. This is what happens. Everywhere in our life, whatever we do, we get the result. There is no action without reaction. Okay, we have taken just one example of the student to understand what is your right. And then he gets the result, and then he gets promoted to higher class. Okay? Now see, when he has entered into the class, it is his choice, isn't it? Nobody forcibly can bring a student and admit him in the class. You have your freedom. Acha. Then, of course, when you are admitted, you have to go through the course. And there also you have got your own right, freedom. Here right means freedom. You may study well, you may apply all your energy, or you may do it haphazardly. That is your choice. Of course, the teachers, guides are there to help you. and the teachers teach in the class where many students are sitting there and listening to the teacher. But not all the students secure same marks, get same results. That depends upon your capability. So your right also depends upon your ability. And when you appear in the exam, what happens? Whatever you have done all the year, that you have to express. That means the whole year struggle will be resulted in few days. And then what happens? The answer papers, question paper you get, you answer the questions, and the answer papers are collected by the examiners, and some particular examiners are appointed to look at your work, and they give you marks. They study how much you have worked for the reaction, result you want to get. And of course, the students get the result in due course of time, not then and there. It takes some time. And then the result comes, means then you are, if you have passed in the interview, then you will be promoted, you will get a prize, reward, that is promotion to the higher classes. And that also depends upon you whether you accept it or not. Nobody can force you to be admitted in the higher class. You may join, you may leave the school, isn't it? There also you have freedom to accept the result or not. So all these process, this is what goes on everywhere in our life. Here the nature does everything. We are bound to act. We get the reaction of it. And similarly, we have the process in our life. We shall discuss it tomorrow. Enough today. Okay. Karma and karma phala, the result, and the right, how much, what sort of right you have, and where, on what you have the right, where you don't have the right. What Krishna advises, he gives the natural laws to Arjuna to have an understanding how to act, so that you will succeed in your attempts. And because you cannot keep quiet, so you are bound to do something. So in what way, what should be done, in what way it should be done, one must understand it thoroughly and rightly, then only he can live a successful life. And if not, then life becomes a failure. That is what explains Krishna to Arjuna. Arjuna is in a mood where he cannot decide anything. So Krishna explains. tomorrow we shall say Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai Krishna Bhagavan ki jai Gita Mata ki jai